struggled with setting boundaries as a woman in leadership with difficult colleagues? This is something that many people struggle with. And in this video today, we're going to talk about how you can start setting boundaries with some of your more difficult colleagues that you work with. This is something that many people struggle with. Women in leadership struggle with it. Men in leadership struggle with it. People struggle with this in general. And it doesn't have to be difficult. I want to encourage you that you can set these boundaries. You can absolutely set these boundaries, friend, but it takes a little bit of strategy to do so. So, if this information sounds like something that you are wanting to learn more about, you should absolutely continue to watch this video. Now, on this channel, for those of you who are new or not new, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. This channel, we heavily focus on those advanced level communication skills strategies that will help you to stand out amongst your peers as a leader. My mission here is to really help you communicate at a higher level than your peers so that you stand out from everybody else. And if you're watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, friend. And I'm glad that you're here today. And there's typically a point in time where people join the conversation on YouTube. So give me just a few moments so I can say hello to everyone. And we're going to talk about how to set those boundaries with those more challenging colleagues that we have. This is a live video, so be prepared to have some interaction with our audience. And if you have any questions about this topic, let me know in the comments below. Let me know. Let me know. All right, we have Pankaj Singh -B2G8X. Welcome back, friend. How are you doing today? Pankaj says, "Hey, doctor, after a long time." Yes, friend, how you doing today? Good to see you again. I know it's been a while. I haven't seen you on the live in a little bit, but I am glad that you are back, friend. Welcome, welcome. Let me know what questions you have as it relates setting those difficult boundaries with those more challenging colleagues. Let me know in the comments below. Pratik Golatkar 1011. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? I appreciate you being back. And I have something I need to tell you before I get into the live today that happened. I don't know if you saw it or not yesterday, but Pratik Golatkar 1011 has a YouTube channel, everyone, and he's in the process of growing his channel. And there was a couple things we talked about as it relates to live streaming that I want to mention to him today. So Pratik Galatkar 1011 says, "Hello, last conversation of ours really helped me a lot." Well, you're welcome, friend. I'm glad that it helped you. And just the fact that you were able to get some insight to communicate better and really set yourself apart as a leader is makes definitely makes my day for sure. So yesterday, Pratik Galatkar 1011, when we talked about live streaming, what happened, and I don't know if you were there for that portion of the live, there was someone that joined that was saying some very offensive words to me specifically with my ethnicity. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to do that on my channel. But what happened is they kept typing it, and I would hide them from the actual comments as you see that happen sometimes. But what happened, particular car, is that the person kept appearing even though I hid them from the channel. And I was wondering why they keep appearing because they kept typing this offensive word in. And come find out, sometimes particular car 1011, you may find a situation where you have these trolls like that. They will log on or have access to different accounts that are similar to their name that are a little bit different. They have different numbers, and they will keep trolling your live like that. Because this person specifically kept typing this offensive word like 4 or 5 different times. And I was wondering why is this not working. So I just want to share that with you because I know you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, friend, and I want to help you any way that you can. If that happens to you, just keep hiding them from your comments and go from there. All right, particular car 1011 says, "I'm doing good. How about you?" I'm doing fantastically well. Every day I'm able to go live with you all, friends. We have Randall 178. "Hello, I'm new here. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Let me know what part of the big beautiful world, one, you all are joining from. And then two, have you ever struggled with setting boundaries with your more difficult colleagues?" That's what we're talking about today. Let me know in the comments below so we can gain some momentum for you as we are stepping into, friends, 2026 is happening very soon. We're in December right now. We have Morgan. Let's see. I'm going to Stritzinger. I'm sorry, I'm driving, friend. Hope you're doing well today. Asking about shoes. I have shoes that I'm wearing today, friend. We're talking about really how to transform yourself as a leader in terms of how you are communicating. All right, we have Fernando 56 93 hyphen I3X. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Buenos dias. Buenos dias, friend. Hope you're doing well. All right. Pratik Galatkar says, yes, very true. That has actually happened with one of my friends. They come on with multiple IDs just to troll and spread negativity in the live. Yes, Pratik. Yes. It was I was a bit surprised by it because I know how to hide people, but the fact that I couldn't, it was new for me. So yes, it does happen, unfortunately. We have Na underscore ID win. Hello. I hope you're doing well today. I know you said you eat crayons, so I don't know if this is the right channel for your friend. We're trying to elevate how you communicate here. And we have Cole Carey 749. Hello, welcome, friend. How you doing today? Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you all are joining from today, and what are some areas you've been struggling with as it relates to setting boundaries with your more challenging colleagues. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. All right, we have Morgan Stringer 596. It just depends on what kind of shoes you want to wear, friend. Depends on 6. So we have Hunter SCAR. Well, friend, as we practice, like I was just talking about a moment ago, you're going to have people that are going to say inappropriate things, try to make you upset. But ultimately, that's why you get deleted and hid from a channel. So that comment was really inappropriate. We have JBD F7QS. Hello, welcome, friend. Hope you're doing fantastically well today. All right. Now, there's a couple ways that you can set your boundaries with your more challenging colleagues. And there's a lot of different ways for you to do that. So let's start with a couple of resources to help you. There's a pre-recorded series I have on my channel that talks specifically about setting boundaries. Is an older Instagram video I have. There's several videos in my live tab that talk about setting boundaries. And if you look more recently on my live video tab, you'll see longer discussions about setting boundaries with other audience members. So there's a lot of resources here on my channel to help you do that. If you're a woman in leadership and you need some support in terms of how to really set those boundaries and communicate them, then contact me for a strategy session in the description below. Now, JBD F7QS says, good morning, sister. Good morning, friend. Hope you're doing well today. Let's talk about these boundaries. Now, why boundaries themselves are challenging to set, because sometimes we as individuals and as leaders feel a little bit guilty about setting those boundaries. And we feel like, oh, we shouldn't say it. I don't know what I should say and how I should say it. And we are very hesitant to set those boundaries. But what happens when you have someone that is a bit more difficult in your workplace or in your professional setting, and maybe this person has talked over your boundaries, talked over you to run over your boundaries, basically, or have been doing things that show that they're inconsiderate of your boundaries. Maybe they ask you to do projects at the last minute. Maybe they ask you to do things that are going to take more of your time, or etc. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how to set those hard boundaries. Before I go into that, let me see what's going on in the chat. We have CJ Zarin Rifle hyphen L6D. I'm sorry, I'm driving and I'm trying to read your names too. Good morning, friend. How you doing today? Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you are today. We have THERM and then it's Stone L5V. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? I'm actually not a grandma, just so you know. I'm definitely not there by any means. And CJ says, I'm good, thanks. Hope you're doing fantastically well today, CJ. So let me know what questions you all have about setting those very challenging boundaries. And if you like this information so far, I help leaders like yourself be able to communicate confidently and concisely under pressure at the next level compared to your peers. And if you have clicked on this video, then there's something that you're trying to develop in terms of setting those boundaries. And this is a great time for you to subscribe to the channel if you like this content so far. I talk about how to elevate how you communicate as a leader all of the time. And setting boundaries and communicating that is something that is definitely a pressure situation I want you all to do very well in. Now, we talked a little bit about boundaries. I have some resources on my channel to help you be able to establish those boundaries. But what do you do when you have those difficult colleagues? So let me tell you an example of what happened to me as a single in terms of being able to set boundaries with more difficult calls. In a situation where I was working for an organization at that time, and while working with the organization, there were activities, events, and etc. that I was expected to go to that were after hours. And there came a point in time where I couldn't do it anymore. I just simply couldn't do it. Before I go into that, let me say hello to Pete Man Glenn. Hope you're doing well today, friend. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from today. And what happened is that there was a point in time where I decided to grow my YouTube channel, to start my business. That's Excite Excellence Incorporated, for those of you who do not know or are new to me. And I just could not have those boundaries, my time boundaries, taken away from me like that anymore. And I had a difficult colleague that continued wanting me to attend these outside events, and I was a senior leadership at that time, and I was expected to go, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I want to know from you all, how many of you have been in situations where you have had something bigger that you're trying to develop, maybe outside of work or in a different type of setting, and you found that you have this one colleague that's trying to make it hard for you and makes it to where you feel like you have to be present, you have to do this, you have to do that? Let me know in the comments below. While I'm waiting for some responses there, I want to say hello to Joseph Kofi C1X. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Hope you're doing well. CJ says, CJ Zarin Rifle says, oh, okay. And we have Bald VC 839. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Let me know what your thoughts are about setting boundaries with hard colleagues. So one of the things that you have to do when you're trying to set boundaries with those very difficult colleagues that are giving you a really hard time is that you have to understand, what's the bigger reason that you need this boundary? Why do you need this boundary set up? Because if you have something that you're working on and you have this one person that's being very difficult, that is not allowing you to set this boundary, then you have to determine what's the bigger reason for the boundary. So for instance, for me, and I'm going to say hello to those of you who are joining in a moment, at that time I was trying to grow my business and I needed my additional time in the evenings to do it. Was not in the position where I could just stay at work extra hours, go to events after hours. I have a family, I have kids, and I said, no, I can't do it. So I had to set those boundaries. So I knew that I had a bigger mission and vision in my life that I wanted to do, which is the reason why I had to set those boundaries. So we're going to talk about specifically what I did that can help you set boundaries for 2026. I want to say hello to Isaiah Velasco, R5R. Good morning, friend. How you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you are joining from today, friend. We have EYADEHAB J1V. Hello, friend. Welcome, welcome. We have error underscore 345. Hello, friend. How you doing today? And CJ Zarin Rifle L6D says, okay. We have TWT 209. You have children. You look so young. Yes, I do have kids. Pratik Galatkar 1011 says, I would really like to know more about the energy boundary. Okay, so we can shift gears and we can talk about that, Pratik Galatkar 1011, just for you, friend. Okay, so in my case, I was trying to set boundaries with my time and with my energy. So let's talk about that, Pratik Galatkar 1011, about the energy boundary. When you are looking at your life as a whole, the things that you're working on and etc. in your life, there are certain tasks, there are certain, I would say, responsibilities that you have that take more of your energy than others. And thank you for the heart emojis, friends. And what happens specifically when you're trying to work and develop your energy boundary, and we've talked about this for those of you who are new, before I go into this for Pratik Galatkar 1011, there's 5 boundaries I want you all to work on as it relates to getting ready for 2026 as leaders, whether you are in my direct audience as women in leadership and men in leadership, or you're not a leader yet, you're trying to get to that level. There's the time boundary, the money boundary, the energy boundary, which is what we're focusing on for Pratik Galatkar, and the personal boundary, and the professional boundaries. So keep those 5 boundaries in mind as you're planning for 2026, because if you don't secure those boundaries, you may struggle this upcoming year. But the energy boundary, as I mentioned, there's a lot of people that just they don't understand that there's tasks that you have to do and the energy that's required to do it. It's not only just about time, it's about your energy too. So for instance, if someone is telling you, I need you to do this project. So I know Pratik Galatkar specifically that you and I have discussed your role and kind of where you're going in your career. So if someone says, I need you to work on this project, and you know this project is going to take you at least 3 hours to do, think about it this way. How much energy is it going to take you to do that project? A lot. It's going to take a lot of your time and your energy. Your energy is going to be your effort, your your drive to do this project. So if someone tells you, particular like our 1011, that there is a I need you to do this VFX project, right? Because I know that's the field you're in. And they tell you specifically that I need you to do this project and it's a lot of work, but I need you to work on it now. And they say, is you know, the project is very complicated and you know it's going to take a lot of your energy. You may have to deflect that. And let me tell you how you do that. You may need to say, okay, I understand I have this project that I have to do, but I have this other project that I'm working on right now as well. Ask your hiring manager or your boss or your business partner, what project do you want me to focus on first? Because I found a lot of times, and I'm going to say hello to everybody in just 1 second. I found a lot of times that your direct counterparts, your colleagues, etc., they will just put tasks on you, right? You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, and you got to do that. And they forget that, look, you're only one person. There's only but so much you're able to do. And if you reflect it back to them and say, what specifically is it that you want me to focus on? Then that gives them the ability to think about what they're asking so that you can allocate your energy accordingly. There's no need for you to go and do all these extra things. Make sure you check that person and say, okay, I understand you want me to do this, you want me to do this, and a million other things. What do you want me to do first? And that's a great way to start protecting your energy, because people will try to make you do anything that they want you to do as an employee. That's one of the reasons why I'm an entrepreneur. But that's just something for you to keep in mind. A particular card is to really reflect back and say, or ask the person, what specifically do you want me to focus on? And if you're in a professional relationship, anything, if there's multiple things you're working on, what exactly do you want me to focus on? What is it you want me to focus on in this situation? Because I have to protect my energy and make sure I have enough energy to do this task specifically. So we can talk more about that particular card 1011. If you have some more questions, let me know. Let me say hello to everyone. Bald the Sing 8839 says, so sweet. You're all so sweet. All videos, I like you. Well, thank you, friend. I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad that this information is helping you in some way, shape, or form. CJ Zarin Rifle says, how do you know if you have any further information? So tell me what specifically you're talking about, CJ, and I definitely will give you some insight on that. But you want to be able to protect your boundaries as much as you can this upcoming year. I appreciate the one emoji. CJ Zarin Rifle, thank you so much. Says, where CJ Zarin Rifle says, where are you going? I'm actually in transit to work with some clients. So that's what I do in my morning lives. For those of you who are new to me, I typically go live in the morning around this time, or in the afternoon, in the evening time. Here I'm based out of the United States, and that's typically when I go live, unless there's a holiday or if there's something catastrophic that happens and I can't be here with you all. We have, I'm going to spell your name, friend, KARLISBELTINS hyphen W5Q. Where are you going? So I just mentioned I'm going to some clients. I'm glad that you're here, and I appreciate you all being here today. We have Lulu Girl hyphen S8V says, hi, how you doing today, friend? Ball V Sing 8839 says, hello. CJ Zarin Rifle says, okay. Roxy Presley, welcome, friend. How you doing today? Good morning. We have MPILOMABUZAP9X. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Olive Juice, welcome back, friend. How you doing? Olive Juice 2024 says, "Girl, watch the road." You're making me nervous. I appreciate your 5 pillars of boundaries. Absolutely, friend. I'm so used to doing this. Believe it or not, I used to when I was in graduate school, when I was driving from North Carolina to Louisiana. I know I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll say this. I used to drive and watch movies and stuff just to keep myself awake. That was before we had real cell phones. But Olive Juice, I'm glad you're back, friend. Welcome back. Good to see you again. We have Rivals Boy. Why are you streaming while driving? That's dangerous, is it? It is dangerous. It can be, but you just have to know what you're doing, friend. That's all. I'm here to support you all any way that I can. This is the time that I have to support you while I'm on my way to see some clients. And I'm trying to optimize as much of my time as possible. I've been in senior leadership roles for over 20 years, and there's so much knowledge I want to share with you all, friends, so that you all feel more comfortable when you're communicating in those very high pressure situations. So any given moment I have to share with y'all, even if it's driving in my car, I will be safe. I'm safe, but I want to make sure that I'm helping you all as much as I can, especially where you are on your leadership journey. Okay, so CJ Zarin Rifle says, "Oh, okay, all right, thank you, Fran." Pratik Galactor 1011 says, "So nicely explained. I am already implementing the strategy you mentioned in YouTube Shorts that has a very big impact." So the actual short that Pratik Galactor is referring to, there's a lot of shorts on my channel, but specifically, and this is not directly tied to boundaries, but it is something that you absolutely want to start working on as you are developing yourself and getting boundaries set. This is the more communication aspect of boundaries. So the video that Pratik Latkar is starting to implement in his day-to-day conversations now is strategic silence. How many of you are uncomfortable with silence in a conversation? Let me know in the comments below. And I want to share with you a tip, a bonus before we finish the live today, in terms of the 3 most common things that people are really uncomfortable with in a conversation, and how, if you can start mastering them, it'll help you to overcome them. So, silence is one of those. And silence, believe it or not, can help you start to enhance and develop your executive presence as a leader. Let me explain to you why. Because people are so uncomfortable with silence, if you as a leader feel a little bit more comfortable with silence, then you will automatically stand out from everybody else. And I'm sorry, the sun is really bright in this particular area. You will stand out from everybody else, because if you're trying to make a very big statement, then you want to use silence. If you are trying to add anticipation to what you're going to say, you want to absolutely use silence. Silence will help you, friends. It is something to not fear. I want you all to embrace it, because if you can stay silent in a conversation, you can set yourself apart. Most people are terrified of silence, they're terrified of public speaking, and they're terrified of eye contact. And if you are watching this video or subscribe to my channel or have not subscribed just yet, if you want to be that person that stands out from everybody else as a leader in terms of how you communicate, you want to master these 3 skills: silence, public speaking, and eye contact, because most people really struggle with them in a conversation. You will stand out from everybody else if you master these 3. And how can you master these 3? One, subscribe to my channel, because this is what I talk about all the time. I will help you get to that next level. Learn from my 20 years of experience. I've worked with congressional leaders on the national level and on the state level here in the Sunshine State of Florida. I have been in those very contentious situations where you need those skills to make a point and to really persuade people to do what you need them to do, or to help advocate for your teams and etc. So you need these skills. And then 2, if you're a woman in leadership, you're welcome to contact me for a strategy session in the description below. We'll talk about how I can help you be able to get to that next level and how we can work together to get you there. That is what you will need to do. But yes, this is a strategy you want to watch. The live video that Pratik Galatkar is referring to, where the short came from, is a video that says strategic silence equals leadership superpower. So check that video out on my live tab. It is something that you absolutely want to watch. This is good for you if you are in a salary negotiation, you're doing a presentation, you're in a contentious conversation, you're trying to be the best candidate in an interview, you're trying to do a board presentation, you're at a conference. Strategic silence is literally a leadership superpower that you absolutely want to have. And that video talks a lot more in depth about it than the time that I have right now to go into that with you today. Now, I hope this information has helped you all. If you have any other topics that you want to learn more about, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate those of you who are new, and I appreciate those of you who are returning. I appreciate you all so much. Let me know what questions you have specifically. I'm here to support you any way that I can, and I'm here to really help you go to that next level on your journey. I appreciate the heart emojis and the smiley faces, friend. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want to learn more about these aspects of setting up your boundaries and communicating them, especially with those difficult colleagues, then let me know in the comments below, because I will be going live a little bit later this evening. So I hope you all have an absolute amazing day. Contact me if you have any questions. I am on Instagram at Excite Excellence, and also on LinkedIn at Dr. Jacinta Lamantine, and at Excite Excellence there as well. Contact me here. Let me know what you need support with, and I'll do a video just for you and give you a shout out in the video as well. I appreciate the heart emojis, friends, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.